Hello and welcome. I'm Darlene Davis with the Ryan Group. I'm your tour guide for today's trust session. Our session's objectives are twofold. First, to define and demonstrate why trust is so important in this time of uncertainty and rapid change. And secondly, to introduce you to Trust Me, Trust You, a sound, integrated, beginning to end process to create, build, and sustain trust in the workplace. Let's get started. Trust has never mattered more. Never. Trust creates a sense of belonging. Trust is empowering. Individuals who trust the people they work with are more self assured, open, and truthful, willing to take risks, less resistant to change, and inclined to act in a trustworthy manner. Trust fosters cooperation, engagement, extra effort, continuous improvement, information exchange, and job satisfaction. What we know is that people will go beyond the call of duty for leaders and colleagues they trust. Trust increases our resistance and ability to meet work pressures with enthusiasm and commitment. Trust, why is it important? Trust creates a sense of security, of safety, of hope. Trust is to have belief and confidence in the purpose, honesty, actions, competencies, decisions, and intentions of those you work with, your organization, leadership, team, customers, and others based on their behaviors. This is especially important during times of change, times like now. Why is trust important? Because trust is the interconnected thread that unites us together. People want to belong to a group, an organization that they can be proud of. People want to develop and grow in an environment where they can make meaningful and valued contributions, and their professional competency and character in the organizations are advanced. A significant portion of a professional's job is relationship oriented. People want to be a part of a high performing team and an organization that is known for its truthfulness. So, why is the need for trust so important? The ability to generate trust and, if necessary, rebuild it among members, between teams and departments and organizations, and throughout connecting parties influences your products, your services, goals, culture, reputation, customers, and ultimately determines your survival. Now let's move to our second objective, to introduce you to Trust Me, Trust You, an integrated process to create, build, and sustain trust in the workplace. Why Trust Me, Trust You? For teams and organizations and individuals to add high value, they must there must be a drive for continuous improvement, a constant questioning of what we are doing and what we can do better to improve our competency and our relationships. The challenge is many organizations are at a loss as to how to start a trust building initiative. RGI's Trust Me, Trust You addresses that loss. Trust Me, Trust You is a process for teams, departments, business units, collaborative work groups, and organizations to evaluate levels of trust and determine changes members might take to improve trust. All units of the organization will benefit greatly from the Trust Me, Trust You initiative. Including participants from a cross-section of the organization evokes a wide range of perceptions and has a profound and positive effect on outcomes. Having said building trust is not a one-time event, trust and trustworthiness is a continuing process which requires commitment from leaders and managers and individuals contributors. Why didn't they ask me? How many times have you said that? Why didn't they ask me? The reality is that people want and need to contribute. Trust me, trust you gives members the opportunity. In providing thoughtful, genuine feedback, members take ownership. They come on board. We know that people are the source of solid, actionable data. Their input helps identify specific areas that are causing lack of trust and opens the door to intervention and development action steps to maximize their team's productivity and foster collaboration. So Trust Me, Trust You is an end-to-end process and intervention for assessing, identifying, and addressing the influence of trust in teams, work groups, departments, and across organizations. The process begins with a trust assessment in the form of question stems addressing behavioral characteristics in 15 dimensions of trust, dimensions that are critical to individuals, teams, and organizations' performance and effectiveness. Trust Me, Trust You encompasses conducting an assessment, producing unique findings, making relevant determinations, and suggesting target development activities. People respond to the dimension statements that help identify specific areas causing lack of trust and opens the door to the intervention and action steps. It prompts getting to the heart of trust and assists in problem solving. The dimensions in the aggregate also highlight the team's strengths the team wants to sustain and build upon. Recognizing and affirming individuals and group strengths are essential to sustaining trust. Such trust generates a willingness to take on a stretch assignment and the assuredness needed to proactive navigate change. Respondents are crucial. They're crucial, significant contributors of solid data collection from different sources. The solid collected data gives them the foundation they need to understand their group and address the issues that are handicapping their team. Trust Me, Trust You is an end-to-end process and intervention for assessing, identifying, and addressing trust in organizations, in teams, and work groups and departments across the whole organization. The Trust Me, Trust You initiative incorporates 6 distinct Trust Me, Trust You resources. The Trust Me, Trust You online assessment, the Trust Me, Trust You administrative kit, the facilitator's guide, the development activities, the wall charts, and the question and answers. Trust Me, Trust You is a successive process for teams, collaborative work groups, business units, leadership, geographic locations, functional departments, and organizations to evaluate levels of trust, and determine changes members might take to improve trust. The assessment is a resource, a means for gathering that collective feedback. The Trust Me, Trust You assessment is a multi-feedback online assessment in the form of question sims that address behavioral characteristics in 15 dimensions of trust critical to both individual and team success. The assessment takes approximately 30 minutes to complete. Let's look at the 15 dimensions of trust. Competent, truthful, open, credible, steadfast, accountable, reliable, connected, loyal, supportive, inclusive, communicative, committed, empathetic, and affirmative. Let's look at the 15 dimensions of trust a little closer. Competence. Members perform roles and responsibilities with proficiency and rigor. They set high expectations and develop the skills and knowledge required to help the team accomplish its objectives. Let's look at another. Open. Members are approachable. They are flexible and open to new ideas and practice. They challenge the assumptions of the status quo and explore new alternatives. They are receptive to and encourage change. Connected. Members understand and appreciate their coworkers' personalities, values, interests, cultural differences, goals, weaknesses, and strengths. They embrace collaboration and collectivity. Members pledge that disputes and differences of opinions will remain within the team, and once a decision is made or agreement reached, they move forward as a team, speak with one voice, and abide by the conclusions. Let's look at a couple more. Committed. Members invest the emotional and cognitive energy and effort required to improve performance and working relationships and deal with conflicts in a constructive way. They are self-subordinate and promote the team's interest. That's an introduction to the 15 dimensions of trust and their descriptions. Affirmative. Members acknowledge others' unique qualities and potential. They express appreciation for contributions individually and collectively to the team's and the organization's goals. So now we've looked at briefly looked at all the 15 dimensions of trust. The Trust Me, Trust You online assessment looks like this. You complete the assessment by reading each statement and checking the box that represents your response to your perception of the level of trust on your team at this point in time. The rating scales are never, rarely, sometimes, usually, and always. You complete the scale responses and the verbatim feedback. Quantitative and qualitative responses. By using a quantitative approach for scale responses and a qualitative approach for verbatim feedback is a combination that will produce multiple applications and benefits. The system provides a means to collect verbatim or open-ended free-form response feedback. Qualitative feedback provides direct and unfiltered information, gathers authentic perceptions, views findings within context, and uncovers opportunities for identifying unanticipated outcomes. From the results of the assessment, teams will know what they do well and where and what they need to improve on. Parts 3, 4, and 5 are optional. Let's look at Part 3, expression. The expression is a verbatim report that provides valuable input. It is an opportunity for respondents to give examples and suggested solutions. It is another key step to getting members on board, committed, and invested. Here are some sample questions. How do you personally express trust in your team? How would you describe your team's overall level of trust? What constructive suggestions do you have for the improvement? How is trust expressed by others in your organization? Part 4, development. These are what do you think questions. For example, considering all 15 characteristics of trust in the assessment, which single one is the most important to your team's performance and outcomes? Why? Choose a performance statement you gave a high rating and describe how your team uses this competency to achieve its goals. Choose a performance statement you gave a low rating and describe what your team could do to improve its performance by developing this dimension of trust. How would you increase the level of trust on your team? So those are some examples of questions. Part 5 is a summary. There's also a praxis model and a strategic action plan, keeping in mind that parts 3, 4, and 5 are optional. And then there's the findings. Note the dimension descriptions. The scoring report presents the results of your response in the form of a rank order report. Scores at the high end of the scale always are indicated by dark green bars. Strengths. Scores towards the high end of the scale usually are indicated by light green bars. Scores at the center of the scale sometimes are indicated by a yellow bar. Scores toward the bottom end of the scale rarely are indicated by light red bars, and scores at the bottom end of the scale never are indicated by dark red bars. The online portal platform system includes both an administrative site and a respondent site. They are accessible by username and password. The individual respondent scoring report presents the results of the individual's responses in rank order. Results are immediately available for respondents' reviews. Individuals will find these reports useful in checking their ratings, referring to it in discussions, and convenient when comparing with future assessment results. The team report is the aggregate scores of all respondents and presented in rank order. It includes team particulars, respondent list, responses to question stems, and a listing of all verbatim input. This is the raw data report. The raw data report shows the numerical count of each individual's responses across each of the 5 rating scales. This is an opportunity to check the distribution. What elements do a majority of the members see as a problem? It's an excellent report. There are other available reports. One is a tree diagram, the balanced team report, benchmark, comparative report. These are optional features. It will only appear if you request it to be a part of the assessment. It compares the leader's benchmark with the respondent's evaluation of effectiveness and calculates the difference. Benchmark could be the leader's rating of each element, or it could be the importance the leader gives to each statement. How I see you, how I want it to be. There's also an executive summary available that provides an overview, findings, interpretation, conclusions, and recommendations. The findings view responses at both an organizational and functional level to determine strengths and identify and define problems. The analysis includes an organizational trust map, providing information and insight across the 15 dimensions of trust as perceived by the initiative's participants. Recommendations are given that address the issues specific to the organization's top priorities. The administrative tracking report adds to your ease in managing and tracking responses. It is decidedly helpful in tracking larger teams. The facilitator has access to the entire visible report online. We studied the trust assessment. Now let's check out the administrative guide, the second component in the trust initiative. The administrative kit presents strategies, instructions, screenshots, and script ideas to help organize, set up, and administer the assessment, track progress, and completion. To assist team leaders and facilitators, the 80-page administrative kit provides suggestions for introducing the assessment, interpreting the results, presenting findings to the team, and providing ongoing development support. This is all included. Ideas and suggestions are given throughout the administrative kit that you can draw upon for planning and preparation, publicizing the trust initiative, and engaging and committing respondents. Pointers for analyzing the data are given by looking for common themes, which become categories for providing feedback to the team, such as looking for similarities, differences, how to look for clusters, agreements, disagreements, and outliers. The administrative kit provides invaluable tips for presenting findings, what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. The administrative kit incorporates 11 steps of instructions that provide the foothold needed to launch an effective trust initiative. Let's take a look at some of the steps. Step 1. Instructions in step 1 include screenshots and graphics, samples, and support for setting up and administering the assessment and reports. Step 2, become familiar with the Trust Me, Trust You materials. A complete set of the Trust Me, Trust You materials are a part of the Trust Me, Trust You initiatives. You want to ensure that the team leader receives copies of the Trust Me, Trust You resources, and then consider who needs the resources, for, who would be pertinent to the deliverables effectiveness. Who might you want to include? Human resources, other facilitators, trainer, coaches, mentors. These all might be included in the Trust Me, Trust You resources. This will be especially useful for the leader who may want to lead or have others lead some of the exercises after the assessment. The administrative kit also includes a sample announcement letter from the team leader. Step 3, meet with the team leader. Tips for the facilitator when meeting with the team leader to engage him or her and gather information about the team's history, mission, values, purpose, goals, role in the organization, problems, issues, and any previous training. The facilitator also discusses the generational distribution within the team, as needs will differ. This is a time when the facilitator and the leader discuss the process, demonstrate the system and the reports. They discuss how the assessment will be conducted, how the sessions will be facilitated, and how the follow-up on development activities will be planned and implemented. There is a real partnership at this point with the team leader and the facilitator. Step 4, conduct a team orientation meeting. Guidelines for setting up an orientation meeting with the team to explain the Trust initiative, its purpose, and assessment instructions are given. And step 5, monitor and track assessment responses to ensure completion. We showed that, we previously showed that report and what it looked like. Now we're at step 6, how to interpret assessment results. The ad kit tells you how to point out areas for development and how to present them. For example, when determining which key development areas to focus on, consider the common items that emerge from the assessment results. Step 6 points out what to draw upon: the various reports, the verbatim responses, the feedback during meetings with the team leader and team members. Then gives you instructions on how to analyze the data. Step 7, very important, give the leader feedback. Here are some examples of feedback guidelines. Schedule a meeting with the team leader soon after the assessments have been completed. Give the team leader feedback as well as your observations and recommendations. Make sure leaders are adequately prepared for the Trust assessment feedback session. Never blindside leaders by presenting information to the team that is a surprise, what the leader would be learning for the first time. To ensure that there are no surprises, review the data with the leader, summarize the feedback responses, pointing out general themes, highlighting both strengths and growth opportunities. Be sensitive to the leader's feelings as he or she has a considerable investment in the outcome. Even the most confident, experienced leader may take the data personally. As you discuss the findings, expect that leaders may not always agree with the information presented. And what do you do in those cases? In those cases, explain that perception can differ between members and the leader and among members themselves. Identifying the differences provides an opportunity to delve into the differences and build understanding. So the administrative kit is so supportive of the team leader. And this is especially important when you have so many team leaders that are new to leadership. And then step steps 8, 9, and 10, plan and facilitate a feedback session with the team. Well, the administrative kit provides the facilitator and team leader tips for planning and presenting the report findings to the team. Team leaders learn and understand how important and essential their role is in keeping the trust building initiative moving forward. So guidelines are given on how to make trust building a priority. For example, making sure that development activities are on a meeting agenda and that the 15 dimensions of trust are incorporated into employee development plans. The administrative kit tells you how. Step 11, facilitating ongoing support for the team. The facilitator's ongoing support for the team is to provide team members the opportunity to build on the knowledge and insights gained from the Trust Me, Trust You assessment. Remembering it's an end-to-end integrated process. Here's some ideas. Provide senior leadership an executive summary report with observations and recommendations. Encourage team members to take action on the plans developed in the feedback session. Schedule and conduct future development sessions using the Trust Me, Trust You resources. Coaching leaders and members who need support in specific areas. And then schedule another Trust Me, Trust You assessment in 9 to 12 months to evaluate progress. Tips for when the facilitator who has been supporting the team from the beginning will be remaining with the team are given. And tips when the facilitator will be handing off to another facilitator or someone else are also given. So this is an overview of the 11 steps that are covered in the 80-page administrative kit. Thus far in the process, we have examined the online trust assessment and the administrative kit. Now let's check out the facilitator's guide. The facilitator's guide is a 146-page resource for facilitating the learning and development. It includes introductions, script ideas, instructions, research, activities, and questions to ask the group to assist you in introducing the topics, their concepts, the application, agenda, and to stimulate discussion. Hints and feedback for engaging the respondents in the discussion are given, and tips on how to bring the group together, including the takeaway and action plan. The facilitator's guide incorporates models and visuals, assessments, graphs, charts, scripts, case studies, activity instructions, diagrams, storytelling, and more to engage the participants' different learning style preferences. The guide gives ideas for formulating the development plan. The guide also points out how to prioritize and strategize development rollout. For example, when results show low ratings in several areas, the guide points out what report data and information gathering to look for insight. Then it outlines tips for prioritizing development activities to meet the needs of the specific situation. Here are some examples of some of the topics covered. Let's begin with the trust model. The trust model illustrates two trust components, relationships and competencies. The relationship component refers to the interaction necessary to get things done. It speaks to the human side of the dynamics that occur in the group, how the members act together to complete its goals. The component addresses the effectiveness of the relationship and interface among team members, other groups, customers, vendors, and community. It pertains to the care, feeding, and concern members have for one another in the group. The trust assessment dimensions, communication, inclusion, empathy, and affirmation, are examples of the relationship component. Competency. The competency component applies to the team's capability to effectively set and achieve goals that produce results. Competence, credible, committed, accountable, reliable, truthful, and steadfast are assessment dimensions, examples of the competency component. It is a convergence of trust in relationships and competency that result in effective team performance. Thus, a team's effectiveness can be measured by its ability to accomplish its objective and to work together in a way that satisfies the team members' interpersonal needs. The Facilitator's Guide includes introductions to each of the 15 dimensions with strategies, suggestion, development activities, and resources. A crisis is unfolding. Why is it? In Fortune 500 companies alone, about 500,000 managers, 500,000 take on new roles each year. And overall, managers begin new jobs every 2 to 4 years. Many more millennials are taking manager-level positions, and by 2029, 75% of the workplace will be millennials. Young people are vital to the success of your organization. Research validates these leaders are not equipped with relationship and competence building training. And such development will significantly increase trust, engagement, and productivity. The guide provides planning, The guide provides planning and preparation tips to ready and successfully carry through trust development. According to research, employees feel they cannot achieve their full potential to work at work due to the lack of learning and development opportunities. Let me repeat that. According to research, employees feel they cannot achieve their full potential at work due to lack of learning and development opportunities. They covet continuous learning processes to help them keep pace with future trends and the pace of change. Although organizations recognize learning and development's importance in attracting and building and sustaining a talent workforce, they often say they lack the know-how, the resources, and the time. They just don't know where to begin. The Trust Me, Trust You assessment is effective in identifying strengths, the source of problems, and where to focus, where to begin. Once known, organizations can utilize the Trust Initiative process to help evaluate their situation, objectives, take corrective steps to improve the situation, induce people to stay, and salvage valuable talent. The Trust Me, Trust You resources are adaptable to classroom instructor-led in-person sessions, virtual and blended learning, team, group, peer training, weekly meetings, and feedback sessions, one-on-one coaching, virtual coaching, and mentoring. Let's explore some of the many virtues and benefits of virtual meetings. One of the benefits is its availability at multiple locations and different time zones. It allows for more time for pre and post assignments for individuals and groups. Online resources are easily available and can be saved or printed. Scheduling online coaching and mentoring is more accommodating to all parties. Training presentations and discussions can be replayed. There is, of course, a significant cost saving financially, in time, in energy, work-life balance, to name a few. Numerous opportunities to expand and to expand and enhance networking, and recorded sessions are available anytime and any place. Up to this point, we've inspected the Trust Me, Trust You online assessment, the administrative kit, and the facilitator's guide. Now let's determine how the development activities contribute to the trust initiative's demonstrative outcomes. The development activities are resources for the facilitator to draw upon, customize, and print as many copies as needed. Activities include assessments and inventories, interpretations, activities, case studies, individual and group exercises, and action steps that can be immediately applied. Each activity is unique in its materials, content, and approach. Suggested activities and resources are listed for each trust element in the 15 dimensions of trust. Many times teams have good intentions but lack the how to. Trust Me, Trust You helps members identify the specific areas that are hindering their team's effectiveness and provides the follow-up actions they can take to upgrade productivity and collaboration. Each of the development activities addresses one or more of the 15 dimensions of trust. Here are examples of the development activities. Let's look at some of these activities. Attitude. Attitude is a positive point of view or evaluation of people, objects, events, ideas, and activities. Leaders should be leaders should be interested in their employees, customers, and others' attitudes because attitude gives warnings of potential problems and because it influences behavior. What you see on the screen is a part of the attitude development activity, which includes the attitude audit, a multi-rater assessment. The audit indicates how your positive or negative attitude is affecting working relationships. Negativity is contagious. When the audit identifies a significant increase in negativity, it alerts members to the extent current situations and circumstances are affecting well-being. It signals the pressing need that something must be done. Once known, steps can be taken to help lessen the mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Recognition, affirmation, and appreciation. People want their work to be noticed and acknowledged. You do, don't you? 43% of employees surveyed said a major reason they left their job was lack of recognition and appreciation. A survey by Accenture. The harder I work, the less I'm appreciated. Employees have more trust, lower stress, and absenteeism in companies when management and peers recognize their contributions. The most the most fulfilling recognition is when people are valued for accomplishments in their department and work groups. That's the leader's home turf, the place where he or she has the greatest effect as a leader. Often recognition and appreciation are neglected because people are unsure how to recognize colleagues' contributions, what to say, afraid they will say the wrong thing. The trust development activities introduces some ways you can initiate recognition, appreciation, and generate attention to your team and build your organization's reputation. Trust Me, Trust You provides various recognition and appreciation ideas for leaders and teams and colleagues. They can adapt to their specific situation. Feedback. Development activities provide guidelines on how to solicit, give, manage, receive, and act upon feedback. Especially important to know when the message is not what you expected or hoped to hear and may be inconsistent with how you viewed yourself. Interdependence. Organizations depend on a matrix of interlocking skills and capabilities, both individually and collectively. Today, interdependence is a business reality. So in this activity, you examine the role interdependence plays in your work and decide what actions you could take to ensure successful reliances. You may not know the extent your behavior is sabotaging your credibility and seriously undermining your trustworthiness. Or you know it's a problem, but you don't know how to change. The development activities create self-awareness and help you know yourself on multiple levels. You can learn what steps you can take to remove the barriers that are holding you back. Every person has individual learning attributes and preferences. To accommodate the different preferences, visuals, charts, maps, and a variety of methods and tools and techniques are introduced to stimulate interest, heighten motivation, and learning engagement. The development activities include assessments to help evaluate strengths, identify gaps, determine best fit, and areas to focus. The activities include case-based discussions that induce members' input and camaraderie and activate inclusion and champion the trust initiative. The development activities include thought-provoking activities based on current and future trends and best practices. Our progress began with the Trust Me, Trust You assessment, a multi-feedback online assessment in the form of question stems that addresses behavioral characteristics and 15 dimensions of trust critical to the individual, team, and organization's success. Next, we explored the administrative kit. The administrative kit presents strategies, instructions, screenshots, and script ideas to help organize, set up, and administer the assessment, track progress and completion. To assist team leaders and facilitators, suggestions for introducing the assessment, interpreting the results, presenting findings to the team, and providing ongoing development support are included. Following the administrative kit, we checked out the facilitator's guide with planning ideas, scripts, activity instructions, research, models, resources to use, and introducing the topics, their concepts, application, agenda, and to stimulate discussion. Then we reviewed several of the numerous development activities the facilitator can employ or customize and distribute and or print as many copies as needed. The activities include assessments and inventories, interpretations, activities, case studies, and action steps that can be immediately applied. So coming up are the wall charts and the virtual meeting slides. The 60 plus 36 by 24-inch wall charts are an integrated part of the learning experience, providing visual context. As an alternative, when meeting online, use the PowerPoint slides in place of the wall charts and whiteboards for activities that ask for participants' input. The Trust Initiative draws upon various types of visuals, illustrations and graphs and models and symbols, concept maps, and color to encourage respondents' engagement. Knowing that learners respond to visual information faster as compared to text-only materials, RGI strives to incorporate meaningful visuals pertinent to each of the 15 trust dimensions. The Trust Initiative incorporates these 6 components: the assessment, the administrative kit, facilitator's guide, development activities, wall charts and presentation slides, and frequently asked questions. These trust attributes promote understanding, knowledge sharing, and a variety of approaches and possible solutions, which can all help an organization survive and achieve a competitive advantage. Here are some answers to the frequently trust me, trust you asked questions. Who is the appropriate audience? The process, content, and assessments are designed to meet your specific needs: audience size, type, teams, departments, board members, customers, clients, and more, and meet your readiness, time availability, and resources. The 6 resources: the assessment, the administrative kit, the facilitator's guide, wall charts, presentation slides, development activities, questions and answers, are all described in the questions and answers component. What training and support is provided? There are several ways that RGI supports the Trust Me, Trust You initiative. We provide train the trainer workshops to equip organizations how to roll out the Trust Me, Trust You initiative. Coaching support services for professionals who want to implement the Trust Me, Trust You in their practices. Or RGI can handle and manage the entire Trust Me, Trust You process from startup, setup, manage, and delivery. Another question: are there ongoing programs Yes, there are. RGI offers extensive services, tools, and resources to reinforce trust as well as generate formative ideas that will raise standards, reduce costs, and improve services and operations, relationships, and competencies. We have comprehensive services in that regard. Who is this for? The Trust Initiative is appropriate for employees at all levels. So those are a few examples of the questions and answers. Okay, lack of trust warning signs. Check out this list and see if you identify with any of the warning signs that are listed. Ignoring warning signs won't make the problem go away. In the workplace, there are often signs that act as precursors of future events. Signs which, if heeded, can help us avoid disaster. Warning signs can prevent or lessen downfalls if addressed early. When the people within a workplace choose to ignore them, casualties ensue. No matter the warning signs, the situations are not new. Others have or are dealing with the same difficulties. Trust is the most vital ingredient in team dynamics. People want to be asked, they want to be involved. Their belief is that two heads are better than one. When people have skin in the games, they feel valued, respected, trusted. With trust me, trust you, people have skin in the game. When people trust, they will unite and consistently produce solutions to problems that are more creative and make better decisions than individuals working on their own make. It makes no sense to ignore warning signs. Trust Me, Trust You introduces best practices behind success. It provides a map and an action plan to roll out trust at every level in the organization. As long as people believe they are improving their ability to accomplish their objective, that they are working together in ways that advance their interpersonal relationships, they will take on additional responsibilities, even when there are risks and setbacks. As Dale Carnegie said, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. Let's look at the business case for trust building. Positive outcomes when trust building takes place. Take a minute and look these over. Negative consequences of not doing or delaying trust building. What side of the graph do you want to belong? Failure of not doing or delaying trust building increases distrust, stress, costly turnover, and lowers productivity. Trust has never mattered more, never. So what have we talked about today? Trust Me, Trust You presents a framework with guidelines, strategies, practice tools, and models you can draw upon to build trust in your organization. What is trust? Trust is to have a belief and confidence in the purpose, the honesty, the actions, competency, decisions, and intentions of a person, organization, or team built on predictable behaviors over time. Trust is a positive expectation of a person's or group's methods, measures, principles, decisions, and outcomes demonstrated by the consistency and congruence of behaviors expressed in words and action. And trust increases resilience. ability to meet work pressures, commitment, and a positive attitude. Your ability to generate trust and, if necessary, rebuild it among members, between teams and departments, and throughout connecting parties influences your products, your services, your goals, your culture, your reputation, and your survival. Your people are the source of solid, actionable data. They want to be asked. Their input will help identify specific areas that are causing lack of trust and will open the door to your intervention and action. For teams and organizations and individuals to add high quality, there must be a drive for continuous improvement, a constant questioning of what we are doing and what we could do better to improve our competency and our relationships. Trust is a mortar that fills the gap between your business's present challenges and the achievement of future goals. At the onset of the Trust Me, Trust You process, we ask the question, how will we recognize our success? And the consensus is we know where we are, where we need to be, and how to get there. And the process evolves over time. What you should see as a result, you should see evidence of increased organizational attachment, personal involvement, valued contribution, and pride. You should see elevation in contributing to the team's work, interacting with team members, setting high standards of performance and achievement, and accomplishing exceptional results. And you should see an alignment of values and convictions, people focused, committed relationships, team oriented goals and objectives, enthusiasm, drive, determination, and energy. Trust has never, never mattered more. Never. Thank you for joining me and sharing some of your busy day with me. I hope you come away with an appreciation of the importance of trust in today's time of uncertainty and rapid change. I hope you have come away with ideas of how to create, build, and sustain a sound, integrated, beginning to end trust initiative in your workplace. I look forward to hearing from you.